the best new direction. I'm going to give you 5. These are 5 ways, 5 things you need for the new direction. And these are just my ideas, okay? For the new direction of Halloween. The reason I got this idea was because I watched The Batman again last night. And it dawned on me. I was like, that's what they should do. And by the way, oh my God, The Batman, one of the freaking greatest movies to come. I've watched it like 5 times now, and I just love it. Like, it's so intoxicating. Like, you can just get lost in that movie, you know? It's one of those movies you soak in the dialogue, for lack of a better word, right? It's just really good. But as I'm watching that, I was just thinking, oh my God, that's what they should do with Halloween, because they didn't tell Bruce's origin story. They just started from year 2, right? What I think, if they bring Myers back, and I'm just talking about the movie side of things, they're probably going to do a TV series, and if they bring Myers into the TV series, that's fine. You know, I think Myers belongs on the big screen, but if they, you know, I talked about my multiverse idea, and that's out there. You know, that idea in the Halloween camp, not from me, but Daniel Harris, and I did a whole video on this. It's on Drumdums Xtra. Make sure you subscribe to Drumdums Extra. But there's a clip. I clipped it out, and it's Daniel Harris talking with Scout Taylor Compton about her possibly coming back to the franchise. But she did mention the word multiverse is floating around in the Halloween camp, and I was like, whoa! I literally was just talking about this. I didn't dare think that they were actually doing it. Not saying they're doing it because of me. I'm just saying the idea's out there. Just to rip the Band-Aid off, what I think they should do is I think they should, number one, they need to get a damn good director. They need to take this seriously. You don't want to go getting Johnny First Time. And not saying that, you know, hell, David Robert Mitchell, that was his first movie, It Follows. But I think you just gotta get somebody in the room that's gonna prove that they got the talent and they got the vision. And like an A24 type director. I think that could work for a Halloween film. Does it have to be that? No, but Ty West is a name that's been thrown around after what he's done with X and Maxine and Pearl. I think he is really well suited for Halloween. So I would love if I think they need to get a really great, competent director with a vision that loves the franchise. And like I can use H2O for an example. It's already been proven. Steve Miner, he didn't give a shit about the franchise. Because if you gave a shit about the franchise, what's the most important thing? One of the most important things in the franchise, The Mask. And as a director, that's information that should be in front of you at all times and very early on in production. But he found out way too late. Yeah, I think they need a director that's going to come in and say, oh my God, Halloween, it's freaking my life. I love this franchise to death. And they don't have to be a Halloween fanatic, but they got to have some kind of vision and they got to be hungry. I have an idea for this franchise that I think could be really, really cool. I think Eli Roth could work. You know, I don't know if the dialogue, like his style of dialogue is more on the side of like Tarantino and stuff like that. And it suited Thanksgiving perfectly. I loved Thanksgiving to death. I don't know I think his writing, I'd give him a shot. I think he would be really good. The kills would be great. But I'll say, I don't depend on kills for Halloween. Even though Halloween Kills is awesome, I love it to death. I don't think that should be the main focus for the franchise. It's great for Friday the 13th. I don't think it's the most important thing for Halloween. Number 2, and this is a pretty straightforward, this is a want from me. Set the movie in 1981. Am I crazy? I think they should set this movie in the 80s, preferably early 80s. So I think set this in 1981, and we'll know that 78 is tied forever to the franchise, right? That year will forever be tied to the franchise, okay? I think you should set this movie in that time frame. It doesn't have to be 81. It could be 80, somewhere around there. But I think that's where this movie should go. But having said that, I don't think characters need to be saying, hey guys, it's 1981. No, you don't even have to say it. just make you feel it. It feels like 1981. And the reason I say that is because I don't think you want to be stating that this is a sequel to Halloween 78. I don't think necessarily. I think you actually don't want to be a sequel to 78. I think it should be its own thing, for sure. And they need to stress this too. This is not a sequel to Halloween 78. That is its own thing. This is a completely new direction. We're thinking maybe trilogy here, but I need a young Myers. That's what we're looking for. A young Myers, and we want to set it in the 80s. And don't tell me you can't do that, because we got freaking Black Phone. We got the movie I just freaking saw, The Sacrifice Game. And, you know, there are countless horror movies that are set in the 80s. Ty West, all his movies are like set in the freaking 70s and 80s. So I think people would love that. A young Myers set in the early 80s would be freaking awesome. Number three. Here you go, okay? Include a twist. I think they should have some sort of twist, but don't let this movie depend on the twist, you know? Still have a really good story with good characters. The first movie has great characters, I think. I think one thing that worked about the first movie is you didn't have too many characters. You know, you had Laurie, Annie, and Linda. That's all you had. And then Myers coming after them, and Loomis, you know? So that's your five, that's your pentagram, right? Those 5 characters, that's all you need. I think they should kind of stick to that. Stick to certain things that really work, that make the franchise tick, and get creative in other areas that you don't really need to abide by the main franchise. But I think when you have too many characters, then it can kind of water the story down, right? So just keep it focused, right? Have one final girl. But I think you should have some kind of twist in there. I really do. Because Halloween 4 had a really great twist. And if they could figure out one way to make a good twist, but also make it chilling, make it scary, and also make it tie into the next movie. So that way it really whets the audience's appetite. They want the next movie really, really bad. All right, number four, okay? Pacing wise, I want you to almost make this movie a slow burn. I don't want this to be like Halloween Kills. This is the first movie in a trilogy in my vision here. I think this should be a slow burn. But I want us into this world. Like, remember I was telling you about the Batman at the beginning of this. And the reason I loved the Batman is because we're right into that world, okay? First scene in this movie, we got a young Myers walking around doing his thing, you know? Kind of like Halloween 2. But it feels different. It feels like today, but set in the 80s. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't want an origin story. That's pretty much what I'm saying here. So I want this to be, boom, right into year 3 of Myers. Pacing wise, I think we should take our time. Get to know the characters. This isn't a kill them every 15 minutes type of movie. I think we should have some plot lines going on. Like in Halloween 4, they had some really cool plot lines going on with Rachel and Jamie and Kelly Meeker. And they didn't make it cheesy. Somehow, even though they made it like a love triangle type thing, it wasn't front and center. You know what I mean? But it was still there. And you still were like enjoying it. And you were kind of upset for Rachel. And you were thinking Brady was an asshole. But you didn't really hate any of the characters. And that's a hard thing to pull off character-wise. These days, this seems like they always got to have a character that you hate and a character that you love. What made 4 work so well is those characters felt three-dimensional. They felt real. And they felt like people that make mistakes. They're young and stupid, right? So I think that's what they should have going here. It's Halloween. You don't have to freaking be doing rocket science in it and shit like that. But I think you got to have something going on in the background character-wise, right? So that way it keeps your interest along the way, but you know that Myers is there. He's looming. He's you know, his presence is felt. That's what they nailed about the first movie. Myers' presence is always felt even when he's off the screen. That's what they got to do in this movie, okay? So pacing-wise, slow burn, but not too slow, okay? I think there's a difference between slow burn and boring. Don't make this movie boring. It's 90 minutes, okay? To be honest, to be fair, too, I don't think there's any Halloween movie that's boring. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, last thing, and it's not the most important, but I think it is important, and this is a word on the violence. Make it bloody, but don't flex, okay? Because we don't got nothing to prove, all right? This is Halloween. we don't have to be competing for the most gratuitous, bloodiest kill. This ain't Terrifier, right? The kills in Halloween are more about emotion, like the kill in the bathroom scene. You're not like, how is he going to kill her? Is he gonna like flip her upside down and then like bash her against the stall and then like decapitate her? No, you're not thinking that. You're just thinking, oh my God, this poor girl. I feel so horrible for her. And her boyfriend is coming in and he's having to watch his girlfriend die in front of him. They set all that up and it was beautiful. That's what they need to do with this violence-wise. They need to make it feel visceral and to really, really get under your skin. Don't depend on just how gratuitous can it be. And maybe that's where Rob Zombie kind of went a little bit too far. Like in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 when he's and he's just like freaking going to town on Octavia Spencer. Jesus. This is Halloween. You don't have to do that. I'll even say, too, the David Gordon Green trilogy, even in Kills, I liked the violence. Kills, I think, went really, like, the farthest that they've ever went. But it still had that impending doom tone behind it all. So you got away with it. Look, I'm not the horror fan that's going to be pissed off if you give me really good bloody kills. But I'm just saying it's Halloween. You don't have to go that crazy, right? You can even like the movie X. X was like my favorite movie of 2022, and it had some blood in it, but it was much more about the characters, and you really felt for them. Tara in Scream, her at the end of X, when she just gives a really great performance. Jenna Ortega, thank you, Tom Lundgren. Jenna Ortega, yeah, she's just giving a really great performance. She's screaming. You see that photo of her screaming all the time. It wasn't about the blood, and it did have the payoff too, because the old lady, when she shoots the gun, she flies right out the door. That wasn't like a gratuitous kill. That was a hilarious kill. It was fun. So I think what makes, and just to close this off, okay, because that's my 5 things, but I think what makes Myers different than other killers is there's like a childlike nature still inside there. And I think he works best when he plays cat and mouse. And when he likes to stretch out the stalking and the killing. He doesn't just go boom, right, like Jason. And I love Friday the 13th. When I'm in the mood, I love that stuff. But Jason, boom, just straight for the kill. That's what he does. Myers, he's hiding behind the window. He's behind the tree. He's looking around. He's just curious about you. He knows he's going to kill you, but he kind of wants to just take you in first before he kills you. He savors the idea, right? That's what's unique about Myers. Character-wise, I don't want Laurie Strode. I don't want Annie. I don't want Linda. I think to really separate ourselves from that world, I think we need almost like an alternate universe of characters. I think that's what we need. I think we need Haddonfield. We need to stay in Haddonfield. But I think just give us a different universe of characters. Stay away from Laurie Strode. I don't mind Strode. Like you could have almost like, kind of like what they did with David Banner in the TV show for The Incredible Hulk, right? He wasn't Bruce Banner. They completely changed his name to David Banner. But what that did was kind of give you like the license to take any property, and as long as you have your main baddie or whatever, or main character like the Hulk, as long as Michael Myers is intact and he's there, character-wise, you can play around. You don't have to be Laurie Strode. You don't have to be Annie. And so I think they need to do that to separate this from that world, But I think what I want is I want a 1980s, early 80s Halloween movie with a young Myers jumping right into that world, starting off a trilogy. And when it's all said and done, this trilogy has nothing to do with any timeline in the franchise. It's a completely new franchise. What's up, guys? You are at the end of the DD Live clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So thank you for watching, and if you want to watch more, you can go over here. You can go over here, click on one of those. And yeah, and hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.